The Samsung Galaxy M40 has just been launched and its triple camera setup has a lot to offer. In fact, it's an upgrade from the similarly priced A50's main camera. But is it better than the Redmi Note 7 Pro, one of the best camera phones under 20,000 rupees? Let's go ahead and find out in this super detailed camera comparison. Before that, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Ashwin Sundar. This is Technology Jock. Kindly subscribe to the channel and more importantly, press the bell icon. A huge shout out to Glazed for sponsoring this video. If you're planning to get the M40, Glazed offers the best display protection for it. They have a full glue edge-to-edge glass and a real curved glass with actual 2.5D curved glass near the edges, which means you won't have to deal with that awkward gap on the sides which you get from installing most other tempered glasses in the market. Glazed tempered glasses are available for a lot of other phones as well, including the Galaxy A70 and Realme 3 Pro. So do check out Glazed, link in the description. You can use the promo code TJOCK to get 10% discount. M40 glass is in pre-order right now. The Note 7 Pro uses a 48 megapixel sensor and the Galaxy M40 uses a 32 megapixel sensor. But both sensors combine every 4 pixels into one, so the actual final resolution is 48 divided by 4, which is 12 megapixels on the Note 7 Pro, and 32 divided by 4, which is 8 megapixels on the Galaxy M40. The M40 does some interpolation and increases the output resolution to 12 megapixels, and it's quite evident from these pictures, the M40 photos are not as sharp as the Note 7 Pro photos. The dynamic range is also better on the Note 7 Pro's images. Here the high-rise building is overexposed on the M40's image, and here the shadows, as in the darker regions of the image, are brighter on the Note 7 Pro's image. Guys, in case you find it hard to understand those technical terms like dynamic range, shadows, f1.7, f1.8, etc., then please go watch this video. It's pretty long, but I've explained everything in very simple terms. Guarantee you will love the video. Now guys, in some cases, the images shot by the M40 seem to have better dynamic range. Like here, the plants are brighter, and here, the area near the car is brighter. But the M40 actually kind of over brightens the shadows, and in the process, it becomes kind of smudged up and soft. Zooming in, you can see a lot more details on the Note 7 Pro's photo. Here, the floor, the cycle, the walls, the lorry container, everything is sharper. When it comes to macro photos, in most cases, both phones perform equally well. But in rare instances, the M40 fails to focus on really close objects. I tried to get this in focus for a really long time, but I couldn't. The Note 7 Pro barely took a second. On the bright side, the M40's color reproduction is a little more natural. Be it that flower or the color of the Scooty Pep in this image, the color representation is more original. Although it depends on your taste, you might prefer a more vibrant look. But there is something the M40 is definitely better at: ultra wide angle photos. Because the Note 7 Pro doesn't have an ultra wide angle camera. Now this is a really cool perspective. A super wide field of view definitely comes in handy in various situations. Now the Note 7 Pro has a 48 megapixel mode and the M40 has a 32 megapixel mode. Both are interpolated results, as in they are both software based, and comparing the results, we can say that the Note 7 Pro gets the better output. It's noticeably sharper. But you cannot use HDR in this mode, so keep that in mind. Now both phones have a 5 megapixel depth sensor for portrait mode. Samsung calls it live focus. It's the same thing. Now, Samsung's mid-range phones are not known for good portrait mode implementation, but the M40 has fared really well. Excellent edge detection and background blur, just like the Note 7 Pro's portraits. On the Note 7 Pro, you get these cool effects like bokeh shapes, studio lighting, and so on. Not something people would use regularly, but still, it is there and it is good. Moving on to low light photography, once again both phones perform really well. They're almost equally good with minor differences. Like the Note 7 Pro's images have slightly better dynamic range. On the M40's image, the wall between the cars is overexposed, there is no detail, and look at this wall, it's a lot more crisp on the Note 7 Pro's photo. Same here, look at the road, the wall behind. And the Note 7 Pro also captures slightly sharper images. Like here, the text written on the truck is quite clear, but it's evident only when you zoom in. Otherwise, in most cases, they look very similar. That is, unless you use the night mode on the Note 7 Pro, then it becomes so much better than the M40. Now, the M40 also has something called Scene Optimizer. When it detects that it's too dark out there, it clicks slightly brighter images, but it's definitely far, far behind Redmi's night mode. The M40 selfie camera is not as good as its rear camera when it comes to color reproduction. The selfies are very flat, as in the contrast is not great. The skin tones and the color of my t-shirt are more accurate on the Note 7 Pro selfies. And of course, they are also sharper. And yeah, all of those things apply to selfie portraits as well. That said, when it comes to edge detection and background blur, both are equally good. Now on to video recording. Both phones are capable of shooting 4K videos at 30 frames per second and 1080p videos at 60 frames per second, although EIS or electronic image stabilization works only at 1080p 30 fps. Now quality wise, the Note 7 Pro's footage looks really good. The color reproduction and dynamic range are slightly better, but the major problem here is the Note 7 Pro has some sort of throttling issue, so it tends to skip frames while recording videos. Like this is a 4K 30 fps clip, which means it was supposed to capture 30 frames per second, but on average it captured only 29. At times it captures only 20 or 23 frames per second. At that frame rate, the video looks kind of laggy and sloppy. The same issue affects slow motion videos as well. It's supposed to capture 120 frames per second, but it didn't even capture 100 frames. So here you can clearly see the lag, those stutters. So for video recording, the M40 is the better option right now. And guys, the M40 also has a super slow motion mode, which is really fun. It's also super smooth, absolutely no issues. So that's it. Hope you got your answers. Summary time for videos, the M40 is the clear winner. When it comes to everything else, well, the M40 comes quite close in many situations, and that's a really good thing. Like even low light photography was equally good on both phones, unless you consider night mode. I don't think the A50 was this good when I tested it. Check out my camera test between the A50 and the Note 7 Pro for more information. But the A50 selfie camera was amazing, a class apart, best under 20,000 rupees easily. But the M40 is not that good for selfies. So the Note 7 Pro is the better option for photos, both rear and front camera photos. But the M40 on the other hand doesn't have any major issue like the Note 7 Pro's frame rate issue. Guys, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button and the bell icon. A lot of work went into the making of this video. And of course, if you have any doubts or queries related to this video, feel free to post in the comment section. I'll get back to you as early as possible. Thanks for watching. For the moment, this is Ashwin Sundar saying goodbye.